benefits to Bitcoin? Yeah, of course. But it's really evolved to being a store of value. For the longest time, store of value was not the key to Bitcoin, right? There was going to be Lightning, and that was going to allow all these transactions to take place, and yada yada. And so that to me never got me excited, because I still don't think that'll happen. But I've always thought it could be a store of value. I've always compared it to gold, and it's what people will pay for it. But what really changed is over the last year, as I started getting more into smart contracts in particular, and really understanding more about their capability and seeing the enhancements that had been made, that was the first thing that got me excited. What made me really blow up on it and really get fired up about it is when I went to mintable.app and minted my first NFT. And it wasn't so much just minting the process, but when I saw the royalties, right, that was the game changer. Because the challenge for all intellectual property, whether it's art, whether it's music, whether it's photography, whether it's a textbook, whether it's anything, is the rule of first sale, right? Once you sell it, everybody else has got the right to sell it, and you don't get a nickel from it. And this changes all of that. And the implications there and the applications are enormous. So that was the first thing that got me started with NFTs. Then I started digging in more on the DeFi stuff, because you can't miss, from this summer, right? I mean, DeFi was everywhere, and all anybody talked about, it seemed like. And so I started digging in, and there's a lot of hype, a lot of BS going around, and a lot of, the yield farming thing and APY and token binging and all this kind of stuff. But what got me excited is really understanding that DeFi turned Bitcoin or Ethereum or even several other tokens into personal banking, right? And friction-free personal banking. With the money I have in some of my bank accounts, right? I still got to go to a banker, and I still have to fill out paperwork, and it's still a multi-day process, and that's ridiculous, right? Even though I'm over collateralized, and I have a big NVL in my personal accounts, right? And so, then I started looking at it and realized that, okay, put aside the over collateralization. That's not really a limiting factor. But I can borrow, or anybody can borrow, regardless of size, in seconds. And it's this decentralization really working to turn crypto into a personal banking platform. And that, to me, is the most exciting aspect of DeFi. And then you start applying that to corporations, and then you start extending NFTs and smart contracts in particular. And so you can mint anything that's digital becomes a digital tokenizable asset that can be resold, all those things together. And it really is something to get excited about, because not only can it change how people deal with their own personal assets and their own, borrowing and lending money, but also for companies, it can really allow them to monetize things they'd never been able to monetize before. People, so everything was analog, right? It was physical in a lot of respects. And so people looked at the internet as a way to simplify things and centralize things and make them available to everybody, right? That was the whole value of the net. And then you started to see unique applications. It's like my company, AudioNet. We took sporting events, we took radio stations back in late 94, early 1995, when people didn't even know what the internet was. And we said, you know what, just like we're doing now, literally, when we started streaming, starting with audio and doing live audio stream like this in 1995, people were like, what's the point? I'll just turn on my radio. I'll just turn on my TV, right? I'll just listen to, I'll put in a CD in the CD player. It was like, why are you even doing this? I'm like, no, you don't get it. Bits are bits, right? They don't care where you put them, or they just want to be used effectively, efficiently. And now we can send audio where people want, how people want, when they want them, right? And so, but there were limiting factors, like bandwidth was a huge limiting factor. Fast forward to today, right? Back then, everybody tried to digitize and internetize everything. Now, with smart contracts, people and crypto and blockchain in particular, people are looking for new applications everywhere. And it's hard to know what's right and what's wrong, what's going to work and what's not going to work. So we were able to make things work. There were a lot of applications that ended up working, eBay, Amazon, et cetera. There were a lot that failed. And so we're in the same place right now. And back then, companies went public and everybody wanted to own stock in an internet company, even though they didn't understand it. Now, there's tokens and applications and layer one, two, three, four, and people don't fully understand it, but they go for the hype and they go for the narratives, and that's what makes it similar. But underneath it all, there are solid applications that impact the world, and that's the important part. I can't tell you who all the winners are going to be yet, or who all the losers are going to be, whether it's the NFT space, whether it's DeFi, whether it's whether it's blockchain and smart contract applications. So there's a lot of spray and pray when it comes to buying tokens and dealing with this stuff, and that's what makes it really similar. People didn't fully understand then. We didn't know who all the winners were going to be then. There was a lot of, okay, I'll try a little bit of everything to see what works and see what sticks, and that's very similar to today.